Okay, Gavin Newsom. I'm by myself on a lonely little island. I don't think he's going to run. In part because on this program, he told the story of how much his daughter hates having security details with her now as he's governor of California. And if she doesn't like the California detail, wait till she meets the United States Secret Service. Maybe I'm wrong. But he is obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, people I talk to, and I want your opinion on this, say he's elevated himself through the fights over the fires, the fights over immigration, fights over redistricting. He's now in the top tier by himself. He's an aircraft carrier. And I say this, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, aircraft carriers can build $1 billion machine, have staff they can hire, have policy chops. I think he's now in the tier one by himself. What do you think?
I agree with that. I 3 months ago, if you had asked me about Gavin Newsom, I said, no, he doesn't have what it takes. Yes, he's good looking. People like good looking politicians, but he doesn't really have what it takes to run against Trump. Because basically between now and the next election, 2028, you're running against Trump, whether you like it or not. You're going to run against Trump, even though Trump is not going to be on the ballot in 2028, or so we think. He's going to run against his policies. He's going to run against his style. He's going to run against, he or she will run against. And Gavin Newsom has proven to really be able to do that thus far. And it's been in a very short period of time. I think Democrats right now, and I think the last time I was on this show, I said that we were leaderless and messageless, and
a few people noticed.
But Gavin Newsom is sort of picking up that, I'm going to be the leader. I'm going to take on the message. And I'm going to have some ideas. And as you said, I think he's tier one right now.
Okay, I'm going to create.
That's not to say other people will not.
Of course, we're just tiering today. Tomorrow could be a whole different tier.
Correct.
So I'm going to make up a second tier, and I'm going to ask you what you think. My second tier right now is Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania, Wes Moore, even though he says he's not running, and Rahm Emanuel, even though I don't think he can be the nominee. And maybe Pete Buttigieg, maybe. So my tier is those three guys plus maybe Pete Buttigieg. What do you think of my second tier? Who would you kick out? Who would you include?
I would kick out Pete Buttigieg. I know it's just a maybe.
Yeah.
I think if we could somehow Frankenstein Rahm with Josh and Gavin Newsom kind of thing.
That'd be great if you could, but it's unlikely.
Right. I think.
All right, we're kicking Pete out, and the only reason I'm including Rahm, because I don't think he can win the nomination, because I think the base hates him too much. The only reason I'm including him is he can raise money, he can get on any media thing he wants, he'll have some political support, and if he enters the race, he'll be aggressive. He'll be on the debate stage, like you just can't ignore him. So do you want to kick it? We're kicking Pete out of the first year, in part because his support from black voters is 0%. And that's not a non-starter.
That's a problem.
Do you want to kick any of my three out of the top tier or the second tier? Do you want to kick Rahm out? Do you want to kick Shapiro out, or do you want to kick Wes Moore out? Want to kick any of them out?
I would not kick any of them out.
All right. Do you want to add anybody? Hold on. Do you want to add anybody?
I would like to add. I would like to add JB Pritzker. I think he's pretty good.
Okay, let's talk about that. Tell me why he deserves to be in the second tier.
He can most certainly raise money.
Just by opening his checkbook.
Just by opening his checkbook. He's been a solid governor for the state of Illinois, and he also, I think, is capable of taking the fight on to Donald Trump. I think.
Yeah. Let me tell you why I'm kicking. I would not put him in the second tier. Okay, 3 reasons, and you tell me what you think. And then I want to talk about our other 3 guy. Just to be clear, you don't want anyone else in the second tier, right? You're just adding a fourth, but you're leaving that as a second tier. Okay, so here's why I say his record in Illinois, your home state, it's just not good. It's just not. The state's a mess. The budget's a mess. He's got some social issue accomplishments, but number one, but I don't think he would be seen as a strong general election candidate. Number 2. Self-funding never works because you don't build grassroots support. And so I think it's a mistake to self-fund. And I think he'd be forced to, because I don't think people would see him. And then number 3, and I say this as a portly person, I just think he's too heavy to be an attractive candidate. I just don't think people are going to go for somebody that heavy. He's fatter than me, Patty, and that's that's something.
First of all,
so yeah, go ahead.
First of all, I mean, I don't think he's fatter than Donald Trump.
Donald Trump defies all rules.
Well, maybe so, but that doesn't mean that others can't defy it.
Yeah, understood.
Okay, let's just talk about the rest of them because we'll agree to disagree.
Okay, all right. So tell me about why you put those three guys in the second tier. So
let's do the easiest one first, which is Rahm. I think he just is one of the smartest people in politics I have ever met. And the experience, the wealth of experience he brings, whether it's House member, mayor, chief of staff, he's been there. He's won races. I agree that it's going to be very, very difficult for him to actually win a primary, but he is going to make, if he decides to run, he's going to make everybody else better, right? Just because he is going to be so good on the campaign trail when he's running. Josh Shapiro, you know what? I like him. I cannot tell you how much I was rooting for him to be the VP nominee for Harris. I think we would have won Pennsylvania if she had done that.
Yeah.
I think we maybe, I don't know, got at least closer. It wouldn't have been an ass whooping, as I like to think of it. He's moderate. He has done a great job as governor in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a swing state. And I think when he goes out, people just like him. I think when he goes out and meets voters, people like him.
Why isn't he in the first tier?
I don't think there is a first. Gavin, I agree with you. Gavin Newsom sort of.
But why do you? But why do you rate him as high as Gavin Newsom? I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying where does he need to prove, I guess, to get in the first tier?
I think he needs to prove that he can go mano a mano with Donald Trump, and he hasn't done that yet.
Yeah. Okay. And Wes Moore.
I like Wes Moore. I just think he has said he's not running, but he's smart. He's beloved. The people would kill for him. I think the people who support him would kill for him, and that's to have that kind of a strong base is really important when you run for president. To have people, Bill Clinton had that. He didn't have a broad base, but his base was there for him through all sorts of horribleness in the primary. And I think Wes Moore has that. And I also think he would do extraordinarily well on a debate stage when there are 10 people on that stage. He will, make himself known.
Yeah. You caught yourself before when you used the male pronoun. Who's the female candidate who now looks the strongest to you? Potential candidate who looks the strongest?
I mean, Whitmer was my person, but I think, and we just haven't seen much of her or heard much from her, so I wouldn't put her in the second tier. Yeah. I also like Gina Raimondo. I know nobody knows her; she has zero name recognition, but I think she has. I think she has the ideas, and I think she has the reach to business, and I think I hope she runs, actually.
Yeah, I do too. And she actually is one of the few who's been open and saying she's thinking about it. She's open to it.
Yeah, I hope she doesn't.
So that I think she'd be a very strong candidate. And you and I know tons of people who say that if only she could win the nomination, she'd be a great candidate and a great president. And a lot of Republican business people would tell you that at the Business Roundtable, et cetera. So ideas. She's obviously someone who would put together a very strong policy team. I look at these candidates, even Gavin Newsom, who we both think is having a great run here. Like, what are his national ideas, right? Because the stuff he's talking about, confronting Trump on redistricting, confronting Trump on immigration. These are not policies that are original ideas that are going to make the real lives of real people better. So just talk about the importance, the underrated importance of actually having good ideas to help people in winning the nomination and then getting elected in the general.
Right. Well, I think the best thing I could say about showing how important having ideas is just look back at the 2024 race. Democrats did not have any real new ideas, and it's a big reason why we lost. I'm still a Democrat. Why we lost. But I think I know this is going to sound silly and there's going to be so many people disagreeing with me. I think it's a little early to come out with new policy agenda ideas right now. I think we have to wait for the real impact of President Trump's ideas and policies and the execution of those ideas to have impact on the country, see where it lands. And we're starting to see it. You know, we saw a horrible jobs report last month, which I know he says was wrong and they were made up numbers. We're starting to see, you know, the prices of produce go up. Tariffs are starting to kick in. So I think, you know, those people who are thinking about running are probably smart to wait and see how all of this kind of plays out and then come out with.
Let me play devil's advocate. Let me play devil's advocate on that. And there are some exceptions to this. And I would say Barack Obama and Joe Biden might be exceptions. But if you look at Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, they talked about the things they eventually ran on for years. And that means they felt them in their gut, and they knew how to talk about them. They knew how crowds reacted to them. Maybe not 15-point plans, but the basic issues, right? George W. Bush is welfare reform and education reform and taxes, and Bill Clinton, national service and healthcare, and right, and Donald Trump, all the things you know. So if somebody says somebody's going to say 2 years from now to primary and caucus voters, I know how to be president, I'm the best person in the country, shouldn't they be talking about the policies that they think are so fundamental that reflect their work and where they see the country's needs? Shouldn't they be talking about those things for 3 years? Is that too much to ask? No,
I do think they should be talking about, I agree with you, but we're in a very, very different place right now where President Trump and Republicans sort of control everything. And I think it would be unwise to not wait and see how that complete control of government plays out before you start, you know, really putting out, here's what I'm going to run on 2028. You can talk about the things that make you, that you're passionate about, for sure, and you should. I think we see Rahm doing that right now. I think we see.
Yeah, he's doing a little bit.
I think we see some of that, but I think to put out a full policy agenda right now would be.
I don't mean full. Lastly, about JD Vance, and when I raise this with people, almost everybody disagrees with the premise. The biggest mistake Democrats made in the 2000 cycle was not trying to stop George W. Bush from getting reelected with a huge head of steam in 1998 when he was running for reelection. They just didn't do all the opposition research and really try to rough him up. Right now, there's a strong prospect that Democrats have a 16-person field, really expensive, bloody nomination fight, and JD Vance raises $2 billion before the spring of 28, and it wins it uncontested. Wouldn't it be wise for the Democratic Party to really try every day to mock the guy on social media, to do opposition research? Like, wouldn't that be smart? Otherwise, they wake up and he's got the kind of head of steam George W. Bush does. But everybody I say says there's no resources for that. There's no bandwidth to do that.
Well, there's definitely no resources for that. I think Democrats are having a hard time raising money, you know, for the DNC as opposed to, you know, their own personal campaign coffers. But I don't know. I think there's going to be just as big a field on the Republican side as there is going to be on the Democratic side. Maybe not as big, but pretty big. I don't think they're just going to hand it to JD Vance. I really don't. I think there are other, depending on how Trump's second term really plays out, I think there may be some folks who say, you know what, it's time for a change. It's time. And I'm going to be Republican.
You might be right, but if JD Vance wins the nomination in the general election easily,
I'll take you out for a beer.
I'll be playing this tape for the whole world. Okay. All right, here's a good question for you. Is a continued divide between Donald Trump and the Fed putting us behind the curve again? Can the Federal Reserve take the right action at the right time, or are all of us going to be looking at a potential economic slowdown? And what does all this mean for your savings? Consider diversifying now with gold through Birch Gold Group. For decades now, gold has been viewed as a safe haven in times of economic stagnation, when there's global uncertainty, and when we're dealing with high inflation. Birch Gold makes it incredibly easy for you to diversify some of your savings into gold. If you've got an IRA or an old 401k, you can convert that into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. or you can just buy some gold to keep in your safe. But first, either way you want to get educated, Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold. Just text the word NEXT to this number, 989898. Again, text NEXT to 989898. Consider now diversifying a portion of your savings into gold. That way, if the Fed doesn't stay ahead of the curve for the country, you stay ahead of the curve for yourself.